Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to show a 2021 South Korean sci-fi film called Space Sweepers. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The year is 2092. The Earth has been reduced to a toxic wasteland but is still home to 95% of all humans. The remaining 5% live in Eden, a paradise colony near Earth created by UTS and its founder, James Sullivan. The rest of humanity either remain on the planet's surface or live in a constellation of colonies called the Orbit. These city-sized spaceships range from residential structures to industrial factories to giant slums. Space junk salvagers, or space sweepers, risk their lives hunting and reselling whatever satellites or space vehicles they find floating in the upper atmosphere. In this madness is Tae-ho, a space sweeper trying to buy himself a look at a recovered cadaver of a 7-year-old girl. After confirming that it wasn't who he was looking for, he heads for the orbit to meet up with his crew of space sweepers aboard the ship Victory on their way to intercept a crashed spaceship floating in space. The Victory crew arrives late, seeing other space sweepers are already trying to capture the spaceship, but with Captain Jang's leadership, Taeho's skilled piloting, and Bub's the robot's pinpoint accuracy, the Victory crew speeds off with the crashed spaceship in tow. The crew arrives at a waste management block, and Taeho tries to sell their other hull to Karoom, only to find out that Karoom not only took all their money for payments, but added more to their debts. Dismayed, the crew then tries to salvage the crashed spaceship, hoping to get more cash. While the crew dismantles the ship, it turns on and an airlock opens. Upon investigation, they find a little girl in a spacesuit still alive and take her back to their ship, in hopes that they can ask for a reward from the girl's parents. While discussing their plan, the crew sees a news report about a terrorist organization called Black Fox that had stolen and weaponized a small child android named Dorothy, implanting it with a hydrogen bomb. Realizing that they have a ticking bomb on their ship, the crew scrambles to come up with a plan to rid themselves of the terrorist weapon. While going through Dorothy's belongings, Taeho finds a smartphone with missed calls from a man named Hyunwoo Kang, along with a file indicating that the man is a nanobiotic doctor UTS employee. The crew decides to hold Dorothy in ransom for $2 million and calls Kang. Kang agrees to meet at a dance club with the ransom. Little does both the Victory crew and Kang know, James Sullivan had intercepted their phone call and is also interested in recovering Dorothy for his own, and sends UTS space guards to the meetup. At the club, Park and Taeho meet Kang. The meetup goes awry when space guards ambush them and open fire on the crowds. While escaping, space guards fire on Taeho and Park, but Dorothy is able to block the shots using an invisible force. The crew escape and regroup aboard Victory and discuss what they'll have to do next. As Dorothy stays with them, she starts to warm up to the crew with her spending a lot of bonding with Bubs and Park. Captain Jang is also touched when Dorothy draws portraits of them. She also reveals that her real name is Kot Nim and that Dorothy is just some kind of code name. Jang also notices that a tomato plant Park had failed to nurse alive has mysteriously sprouted and is now bearing fruit. Back in UTS, Sullivan plans to unveil a new product for the transformation of Mars, the super plant. Meanwhile, the Victory crew docks at a repair block but are having difficulties since they're low on cash. While waiting, Taeho and Kotnim get an idea to raise money by selling the tomatoes, and end up raising enough for the repairs. Bubs reveals to Kotnim that Taeho used to be a space guard and was living in Eden. In one of his missions, he adopted a baby and raised the child as his own, naming her Soo-ni. Taeho learned compassion from Soo-ni, which led to him being an unreliable space guard, which eventually leads to him getting dismissed and being kicked out of Eden. Taeho fell into drinking and gambling. One day, a freak accident occurs in the orbit, and Soo-ni gets shot out into space. Taeho now spends all of his time trying to save up enough money to pay for the recovery of Soo-ni's body. The crew gets another call from Kang, and he still wants to meet up for the exchange. Taeho wants to go through with it, but Park expresses his hesitations about handing the android over. Taeho rationalized, saying they need the money and that she's just an android, saying he doesn't care what the Black Fox does with her. They're disrupted when Kotnim gets kidnapped on her way to the bathroom. The crew gives chase and eventually tracks down an assailant. Taeho and Park are eventually cornered by a group of people but manage to fight their way out. They were surprised to see that the kidnapper was Karoom, the person whom Taeho sold their haul earlier. The crew and Karoom's group try to talk it out and exchange revelations. Jang states that Kotnim is clearly not a robot as she keeps on using the bathroom, and that Kotnim is actually Kang's daughter. Karoom reveals that he's part of Black Fox, but says that they are not a terrorist organization, but is actually an environmentalist group bent on saving the planet. He further explains that Cotnim isn't an ordinary child. She was born with a disease that destroys her nerves, and as a last resort, Kang injected her with nanobots. The nanobots bonded with her body, but also gave her the extraordinary ability to communicate, manipulate, and control nanobots around her. She uses nanobots to restructure living material and may even be able to restore the planet's life. However, James Sullivan used her for his Mars project, and to prevent anyone from divulging any information, had all the scientists who worked on the project killed. Cotnim escaped with the help of the nanobots that made her indestructible. Sullivan devises a plan to kill Cotnim and destroy Earth, all the while putting the blame on Black Fox. He plans to take Cotnim, place her in one of the in-space mines, and detonate a bomb. The explosion kills Cotnim and launches the mine into the planet, creating catastrophic destruction. The meeting ends abruptly when space guards arrive. The crew tries to escape, but space guards locate Cotnim and give chase. The Victory flies away, narrowly escaping the space guards, but are forced into the Lagrangian Point, a portion of space filled with indestructible nanobots that eat everything. The Victory is immediately engulfed in nanobots and is almost destroyed, but Cotnim uses her powers to get the nanobots off of them before she passes out. The crew recovers, but as they make their way back to safer space, they see a news report about them. They're now being branded as members of the Black Fox. The news reveals that Captain Jang used to be an engineer and a former member of the UTS Genius program, and later turned and joined an anti-UTS group that almost succeeded in assassinating Sullivan. Park is revealed to be a former drug cartel big boss and is now in hiding, fearing execution if he returns to Earth. Apparently, he used most of his drug money to help children in need. They later get a call from Karoom, and he tells them that he's with Kang and that they'll be meeting at MR-13, the now abandoned civilian block where Suni died. The Victory makes its way to MR-13 and the crew meet up with Black Fox again, this time with Kang. Kang and Cotnim finally unite, but the celebrations are cut short when they get ambushed by Sullivan and the Space Guards. The Space Guards massacre the Black Fox, Kang, and leave the team for dead while taking Cotnim and leaving the crew with $4 million. The Space Guards leave but maintain watch on the Victory in their spaceships, ready to fire. The crew argue and end with Taeho leaving with the money to pay for Suni's recovery. The rest of the crew remain to fight for Cotnim's freedom. Taeho comes to his senses and returns to the ship, and they plan to take on the remaining Space Guards. Taeho takes his place on the Victory's helm while Captain Jang and Bubs position themselves behind and on top of the ship respectively, with Park taking charge of the engine. A chase ensues and the crew is able to keep up the fight against the pursuing Space Guard. The Victory gets away and eventually makes its way to Cotnim's location in the center of a giant mine structure. Finding Cotnim, they discover that the bomb can kill all nanobots in a 5,000-kilometer radius. The team decides to take Cotnim and fly her as far as possible, but wrestle with the guilt of leaving the bomb to detonate and kill billions. With the Space Guards making their way to them, they decide to go through with the plan. The crew calls on the aid of their fellow space sweepers in the fight against Sullivan and the Space Guards, and they answer the call. Pierre, a fellow space sweeper, arrives with his crew and attempts to help them but quickly gets left behind. The Victory succeeds and is able to fly far with the help of the other space sweepers. While the fight ensues, the Victory's pursuants are quickly eliminated by Captain Jang and her laser rifle, but one ship remains. It's James Sullivan himself. As Sullivan latches onto their ship with his own, Captain Jang broadcasts to Eden and the orbit a recording of Sullivan while in the MR-13, revealing his plan to kill billions on Earth and the truth of Cotnim. Just as the Victory clears the 5,000-kilometer radius to keep Cotnim safe, Sullivan breaks open the Victory's cargo hold where Cotnim was hiding. To his surprise, it wasn't Cotnim the Victory was transporting, but the bomb instead. Cotnim is safely aboard Pierre's ship as they transferred her earlier before the Space Guard's arrival. The countdown reaches 0 and the hydrogen bomb explodes, taking the Victory and Sullivan and keeping everyone else safe. When the explosion clears, everyone sees that the Victory's crew cabin is safe. It was protected by the indestructible nanobots under Cotnim's control. After some time, everything is revealed to the world and efforts to repair the planet are underway. Cotnim helps in the planet's recovery and the team finally gets the money they need. Taeho, thanks to Cotnim, is able to locate and communicate with Suni via the nanobots. The Victory crew resume their space sweeping job, now with an upgraded ship and a new addition to their crew.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.